Hi everyone, Mrs. Smith here, and what I'd like you to do very quickly, do it now, just see if you can remember how to draw a longitudinal and a transverse wave. Okay, longitudinal wave and a transverse wave, draw them now and answer this question. Would a sound wave with a lot of energy be loud or quiet? What do you think? Okay, feel free to pause the video to finish your task and we'll see what you think in a minute. Back soon. Okay, so I've got my longitudinal wave here with its compression, rarefication, compression, and spacing out again. And one wavelength is from one compression through to the next. So that is one wavelength. Okay, and I've got a longitudinal wave underneath it with a peak and a trough labelled on there. And one wavelength is from peak to peak. So our transverse wavelength, peak to peak, we have got one wavelength. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we are going to see some sound waves and be able to describe them. We can draw them, we can describe them. Now here's the thing, sound travels as a longitudinal wave, and I can tell you it took me a lot longer to draw this one than it did my transverse wave. And as we learned when we were studying the periodic table, scientists don't like to take ages to do something when there's a simpler way to do it. Instead of writing oxygen, we can write O. Instead of writing fluorine, we can write F, and so on. So to make it easier, we draw our sound waves as transverse waves. Okay, so we don't always have to draw them as longitudinal waves. Our compression and our peak match up, and our rarefication and our trough match up. Okay, so at each peak, we've got a compression, and we can imagine our sound waves, compression, rarefication, compression, rarefication, compression, and so on and so forth. So before we start looking at transverse waves in a little bit more detail, what we're going to do is just go through a few of these things. So I've put a little symbol there. It's the Greek letter lambda. You should have these written down already from Do It Now. You're going to need to write down these definitions as well. Okay, so a wavelength, lambda, is the distance between two peaks of a wave. Okay, and the two peaks should be next to each other, I should say, and it's measured in meters. So your wavelength, lambda, is the distance between two peaks of a wave, and it is measured in meters. You can pause the video to finish writing it. Frequency, F. It's the number of waves that go past a fixed point in 1 second, and we measure it in hertz. That's Hertz. And to write it down, it's capital H, small z for the unit. Okay? And our last one, amplitude or amplification, is written with a little a. And this is the maximum displacement of a wave from resting position. All right? So what that means, if we look at this bit here, okay, resting position is this line here. And it's the maximum displacement. So it's not from here to here. That's not the maximum displacement. No, the maximum displacement is from the peak or from the trough. Okay? And they should both be about the same. Well, they should be exactly the same if the wave is the same wavelength all the way through. Not wavelength, the same energy in the wave. Okay, all the way through. So the same loudness if we're talking about a sound wave. So this is the amplitude. Okay, be really careful. Loads of people do it from trough to peak. And they don't, yeah, let's do the whole thing. That's the amplitude. No. The amplitude is the difference between the resting position and the maximum displacement. Okay, so let's go back. The maximum displacement of a wave from resting position, the greater the displacement, the more energy in the wave. And as well, that's measured in meters. You may find in reality it could be measured in centimetres or millimetres. It doesn't always have to be metres, but generally speaking, we will put it into metres. Okay, so let's go back to frequency. The waves that go past a fixed point in 1 second, measured in hertz. Okay, so I've got something that can show me the sound. Now, unfortunately, my home oscilloscope isn't working, which is quite frustrating. But what I do have, and what you can get as well, is there's a free app for your, well, I've got it on my computer, but I'm sure you can put it on your phone. And it is called Soundscape. And let's just let my camera adjust to the light from the computer there. So what you can see here is my voice talking to you. That sound wave on the screen is my voice. And I can make it, if I try and do something with the same pitch and volume, apologies for my singing voice, it's not very good. I'm hoping that you could see the wave there being of a, about the same wave height, so the same amplitude, the same displacement from resting. And you could also see that it was a similar wavelength. Of course, if you download this, you can have lots of fun yourself, making an ah or an ooh sound can create some interesting shapes. The e sound also makes some really interesting ones. I really do recommend you have a play with this. It is quite a lot of fun. And it's interesting, of course, because different instruments have different signature waves. So I'm just going to show you a few. Okay, I've just opened up my piano and I'm going to play an A at 440 hertz. Okay, this is the A just above middle C. It is known for being 440 hertz. And it's the note that all the orchestra is tuned to. So let's play it. And there you go, there's the wave. And what I'm going to do is do a couple from a book because it's easier for you to see. Okay, so here we are. This is what the traces of the wave patterns show for different instruments. We have a clarinet at the top, a violin in the middle, and a saxophone at the bottom. So different instruments produce different types of waves, just as different letters from your mouth, they produce different waves as well. It's absolutely fascinating, isn't it? Usually we just see waves as these things going up and down, like you see here. Okay? But no, they're a lot more interesting. Okay, so we've seen various different waves, and you should know that they're going up and down. Okay, and we spoke about the height of them being the energy. Okay, so the greater the amplitude, the greater the volume in the case of sound, the more energy it's got. The higher the wave, the louder it is. And if you download the oscilloscope, which is something I'm going to be advising you to, no, encouraging you to do. You don't have to do it, but it is a lot of fun to just talk into an oscilloscope and see your voice and see what it looks like quietly, which is the very small wave, and see what it looks like when you are louder as well, which is the big wave. To see what it looks like when you're doing a low sound, which is the waves are quite spaced out, the wavelength is far apart. Or when you're more high pitched, and you can hear that you're more high pitched, and you can also see that that wavelength is smaller. There are more waves going past that fixed point, so the frequency is higher and you get that higher pitch. Okay, you did see it with mine. You can run the video back to where I was talking into the oscilloscope and see that. Okay, so, ooh, hang on a second. I think I hear the phone. I will just be 1 second. Where's my phone? There's my phone. Hello? Okay, I see. All right, so can I just take your name? All right, Mario Luigi. Okay, so Mario and Luigi, all right. And you're up at the mansion and it's haunted and you want us to come and investigate. Well, we'll see you there very soon. Good thing I'm afraid of no ghost. Let's go busting. Whew. Well, that was a night and a half. So, what I did was I set sound recorders, tape recorders, in different places of the mansion, and we managed to catch 6 ghosts on tape. But I was really excited. I gathered up all of my recorders, I brought them back, I put them through the oscilloscope on my computer, and I forgot to say which sound file came from which recorder in which room. So I'm going to need your help to figure out which one came from where, because I can't ring that Luigi bloke back, honestly. He was an absolute nervous wreck, absolute nut. Can't ring him back and say, can I do it again? Because he's going to get... So what I need you to do is I need your help to figure out which ghost is which. All right, so let's come and take a look at the sound waves I've got, okay? So these are the 6 sound waves I traced from my ghosts. And I need you to figure out which one goes with which one, okay? So tape recording A, I took in a library. So we need to find out which ghost was in the library. His name's Neville and he likes to read really quietly. And sometimes you can hear him humming really quietly and softly to himself. Okay, which one do you think that is? What I need you to do is to write down which ghost is recording A, Neville, in the library softly humming to himself, and say why you think it's that one. Okay, recording B came from the nursery. And it was a ghost named Chauncey, a little baby ghost, couldn't sleep, crying his head off. You know what babies are like, really high-pitched crying. Drove me absolutely bonkers, it really did. So which one's recording B, the baby crying in the nursery? Which ghost is that? Recording C was from the conservatory. Now, the ghost in here is called Melody Pianissima, and she was practicing her piano quite loudly. So which one looks like it might be a ghost practicing the piano? Write down which ghost comes from recording C and tell me why you think that. Recording D came from the billiards room. Now this ghost, Slim Bankshot, he plays pool in there. Short noises, fairly loud, but it's just him hitting the balls and that's all you can hear. Recording E is from the wardrobe room. Okay, and it's a ghost named Uncle Grimley. So which one's Uncle Grimley? He stays hidden in his wardrobe room, talking occasionally to his reflection in the dark. Bit of a weird one, that one. And finally, our final recording, F, was from the recreation room. We've got a bodybuilder ghost, okay, and his name is Biff Atlas. So which one is Biff Atlas in the rec room? He moves weights around so you can hear these short grunts and the odd straining noises as he does so. So which noise looks like it's really short and could be a grunt as you lift the weights? You can, of course, rewind this video to hear any of the descriptions. You can skip a ghost and get to the end and see if you can match up the unmatched ones. So, yeah, feel free to watch the descriptions again and figure out which ghost is which. You will have to email me with which ghost is which. Oh, sorry, email your usual teacher. For my class, this is on a worksheet. If you can't access the worksheet, the same information on that worksheet I have just given you to figure out which ghost is which. Okay, thank you so much. Be lovely for you to help me, and then I won't have to go back to that mansion again. Thanks. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye.